Okay, testing, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? The camera is not on. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. For some reason, the camera's not on. Let me see if I can fix this. I'm having to use a different, okay, the mic's on. That's a screen share. Why are you guys not seeing me? Maybe I have to, let me type in the chat. Hey, have Cheetah, Will View. We're to add video source. How do I add video source? Maybe let me come over here. That's not that. It's not that. No, that's just asking me if I want to share my screen, but not how I turn. Wait, over here. Don't have access to this feature? Hold on. Let me go into my computer settings, system settings. Sorry about this. What happened was I exceeded the monthly limit on StreamYard, so now I have to use YouTube's local streaming, and I don't know how to use it. So let me go in my system settings and see what's up here with the camera. All right, general. It's probably trying to pull from the OBS camera, which I didn't turn on yet. And somebody has already started doing fireworks. You know what? Let me do that. Let me go into OBS and turn on the camera. Remind me later. Now it's asking me to update. No. You just closed the dockable window. If you like to open, okay, got it. Remind me later. Where's my camera stuff in OBS? Okay, it looks like you haven't added any video sources yet, so you will only be outputting a blank screen. Are you sure you want to do this? You can add sources by clicking the plus icon under the source box, okay? I should title this stream, Learning How to Use Streaming Software. Okay, here's the sources. Click the plus, and let's do, okay, that's audio input capture, Mac OS screen capture, video capture device. Maybe add existing. Is there an existing? No. Make source visible. No, it's not doing that. Create new. Okay, let's try that. And let's use the OBS virtual camera. See if that works. Okay. That one is still not showing just yet. Do I have to click on something to give it permission? Let's add another video capture device since that one is a video capture 2. And we'll try to use the FaceTime camera. Okay. All right, that worked. I'm gonna full screen it, and then I'm gonna do start streaming. You need to set up a broadcast before manage broadcast. YouTube access error. Please check your network connection or your YouTube server access. All right, let me do this. Let's minimize this and see if it's showing on YouTube. No, it's still showing OBS. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. All right. This is the biggest fail. I should rename this fail stream because that's what this is. All right, let me go back into OBS. Oh, let me see what Tonyman says. Add video source. I did that. Have Cheetah says no fireworks here yet. Tonyman says go to the sources video capture device. I did that. Midnight Messiah returns, says, "Hey, Lady Shasha," in scary chat people. Tony says, "Hey, folks, we're doing great." In Midnight, Messiah returns, says, "You're midnight too." Okay, so let me go. I bet you, because I'm on a Mac, I probably have to do some extra stuff to tell it to allow OBS to use the camera. It's probably what it is. Let me go into system settings and look at the permissions, because Mac is a stuck-up bitch. We all know this about Macintosh computers. How old are you? Or I should say, how old am I that I remember that it's called Macintosh? Okay, let's see. Let's go into general. Nope. Accessibility, nope. Desktop and dock. Displays. Nope. That's not telling me. Tony Man says, "Did you go to the controls and start your virtual camera?" No. Let me go back in and see if it says that. Where does it say start your virtual camera? Oh, there it is. There's a button that says start virtual camera. Oh my God, I'm so slow. Okay, let's see if that worked. Yes, we're live. Okay. Okay, I'm a mess. more so than usual. You can see look how much my skin broke out. That's how I can usually tell when my blood levels are messed up. My skin breaks out, and then my hair gets, you can see it on the side, it gets really, really thin and breaky looking, and it's terrible. But hi, how are you? Welcome to the stream. After just 6 minutes later, then yeah, I'm gonna see how this works now. I'm gonna see if we can share the screen on our first story. Let's do like this, and then pull this over here. Learning new software on the fly. There we go. And then we'll do like this and see if we can pull that up on screen. And it says here, let's move this way. Now, what's up? It might take me off the screen and only put the subject on the screen. So we're going to see. I'm doing share screen. Do this, share. And I don't see it. Let me try that again. Or do I have to make another box for it? Oh, wait, something's happening. Here we go. Now we've got some progress. All right. It's a little slow, or maybe my computer is slow, a little too slow to work this off because I am on a laptop. Oh, where did my picture go now? What a mess. I might have to do this without visuals if it's going to keep doing that. Oh, no, there's a huge delay. All right, we'll work with it. We are going to work with this delay. Fighting through. It might be a shorter live stream than usual because I don't know how much of this I can take. Let me see what's going on in the chat besides people laughing at me. Tony Man says, "You're welcome. Someone didn't watch the OBS tutorials I sent them." I'm sorry. I was looking at a different tutorial that was on YouTube, and it I don't know, it didn't seem like it made it seem like it didn't have to already have. Tony Man also says it actually looks a lot better. Are you guys able to see the chat on the screen? You know what? Let me pull up the stream on my phone and see what it looks like, because I have no idea what it looks like on this app. Let's go to my channel. Let's see what the stream looks like. And if it doesn't display the chat on the screen, it just displays it like usual. No, where was I? Okay. Tony Man says it actually looks a lot better. Have Cheeto Will View says zoinks. Midnight says Lady Shasha is having problems with her camera because she refused to give back that Annabelle doll. Yep. Have Cheetah says the curse of Aster is in play. Doc Kaiju says hi. Midnight says, hey, Doc. Okay. Have Cheetah says we can see the chat. Soliman says looks good. Okay. When I'm looking at myself, it looks like it's freezing and staggery, but I'll just go with it. Let me go back to our first story. Headline reads Netflix users beyond disgusted after watching new release. This comes courtesy of comicbook.com and is written by Tyler Fisher. Some Netflix users are appalled by what they just watched. Netflix users claim they are disgusted after watching a new release on the streaming service. June 2025 is a pretty underwhelming content month for Netflix beyond Squid Game Season 3, which is set to drop on June 27th, 2025. This doesn't just apply to Netflix original content, but applies to the streaming service across the board. That said, while there isn't a ton of noteworthy new releases on Netflix this month, there is still a steady flow of content as there always is with Netflix. To this end, one of the more notable releases this month was Trainwreck, the Astroworld tragedy, which examines the Astroworld Festival crowd crush that occurred in 2021. For those that don't know, the tragedy resulted in the deaths of 10 individuals and the highest number of accidental deaths at a U.S. concert since 2003. Oh, by the way, I'm reading this because this comes under what I call real life horror. I have another one after this one. That's also part of the train wreck that I just watched last night. As for Trainwreck, the Astroworld tragedy, it gives information on the tragedy not just through a retelling, but with exclusive interviews from various survivors, staff, and first responders. The jury is ultimately still out on how good of a job it does in the pursuit of this. Though early consumer and critical reviews so far suggest it doesn't do a great job. Meanwhile, over on Netflix, on a Netflix Reddit page, one of the top posts this week is a post about the release. And to say the release has left an imprint on subscribers would be an understatement. Quote, I just finished watching Trainwreck Astroworld Tragedy. I am beyond disgusted, reads the post in question before lamenting the lack of accountability from all those involved. Are you guys familiar with this, with the Astroworld tragedy? Which, when you think about it, it kind of shows how much the entertainment, or I should say the music industry, doesn't care about fans, because this is something that's happened multiple times. There was a crowd crush in New York in the 90s. There was one it was in the Midwest in the 1950s or early 60s. It was like at the dawn of rock and roll. Half Cheetah says, is this the Travis Scott concert? Yes, it's about the Travis Scott concert. They learned nothing from the one. There was one in the 50s. Let me Google what that one was. Crowd crush at rock concert, 1950s or 60s USA. It was in Cincinnati. Oh wait, it was in Cincinnati in 1969. Oh wait, this is a different one. I didn't hear about this one. The one in 1969 was with the Rolling Stones. It says it was marred by violence and poor planning, including the decision to use the Hells Angels as security. But there's one before that one. There was one before the one in 1969. I'm trying to find. It was hosted by oh gosh, what is the gentleman's name? He's kind of like oh man, I can't remember his name. There was the guy from American Bandstand, and there was a competitor that was similar to the guy from American Bandstand. Shows like American Band, 1950s. How the heck is Rifleman like American Bandstand? Not at all. No, it wasn't Buddy Dean. It was a different one. Not Buddy Dean. What is it? If I asked my sister, she would know immediately who I'm talking about. Wasn't, but it was hosted by one of those guys. Let me look in the chat. Maybe somebody knows it. Eric says it was a major news event when it happened a couple summers ago. Eric also says in Ohio, the Who crowd crushed each other in 1979. Cheetah says, yes, Travis Scott encouraged the crush. They were so outgunned. Eric says that was Altamont in 1969. And Cheetah says that was Woodstock back in 1969. And then Cheetah says, was it New York or California? The one I'm thinking of was in the Midwest that resulted in injuries. Maybe no one passed away. Maybe it was just injuries. That's why I changed my search queue. Nope, nope. It's gonna bug me until I figure out the man. The man's name was Alan something. Rock music host Alan Freed. Alan Freed hosted something in the Midwest. Okay, I'm getting closer. Rock concert in the Midwest hosted by Alan Freed that resulted in injuries. Cleveland. It was in Cleveland. It was called the Moondog Coronation Ball. What was the date? Let me see. 1952. It was held in Ohio, March 21st, 1952. This event was widely considered the first major rock and roll concert organized by Cleveland DJ Alan Freed. And Alan Freed also had a TV show that was similar to American Bandstand. Organized by Cleveland DJ Alan Freed, aka Moondog. The concert featured artists like Paul Williams and his Hucklebuckers and Tiny Grimes and the Rocking Highlanders. However, the event quickly became chaotic. An estimated 20,000 to 25,000 people showed up for the concert in an arena with a capacity of only 10,000, leading to a massive overflow crowd. The overflow crowd reportedly broke down the doors and pushed past the police as they tried to get into the venue. Now, mind you, that's 1952. We're now 70 years later, and they've learned nothing. That's what this is giving. They've learned nothing, or they just don't care about people's safety. But enough on that. There was another, because I don't want to get too down because we've had so much downer news. There is some funny news. Let me see if I can find the trailer for it. There's another episode, which I still call this real life horror, of Trainwreck, and it's about a cruise. Oh gosh, this OBS makes my computer run really, really slow, which means I need a more powerful computer. I need to build like a gaming computer or something because this is going to impede my progress if I am unable to navigate around in a timely manner. Oh my God, this is slow as molasses. Okay. Okay, let's see if there's a trailer for this that I can share. Because I was watching this last night, and this was also disgusting in a different way, in a more lighthearted way. Okay, I found the trailer for it. Let me see if I can share this. Share this tab instead, see what happens. Come on, computer, come on. You can do it. Some of you might already know what I'm about to show because if you're familiar with Netflix documentaries, because this one just dropped. It was only 55 minutes long, but that's all you needed. That's all I think anyone could take of this. I don't know why this is doubling up on my screen. Oh my gosh, it's not loading for. Well, let me look in the chat. Altamont was in Tracy back in December 6, 1969. Tonyman says, you don't have the YouTube chat connected. Oh, wait, do you have the YouTube chat connected? Have Cheetah review. Cruises are getting out of hand. So many fights on them lately. Yes. Eric says, you're definitely lagging some. Tonyman says, might be the interwebs. Oh, it could be. It could be. I wouldn't put it past them. Doc says, Lady Shasha, does your crite have a name? I did not name the crite. I should name it. Yeah, have you guys seen? I'm just gonna play the trailer for this and see if you, yeah, her tech gremlins. I do have a Mugwai over there. I don't know if you could see him from this angle. Let me see if I can show you. I do have a Mugwai. There. I want to get the one that's striped. I have a small like Funko Pop type stripe, but not from Gremlins too. But
lights go out.
You're hearing a buzzing. I think what you're hearing is the fan from my computer. That's why I said I don't think I can do a long live stream tonight, because the fan has already started going on the computer just from me starting OBS. But the computer has also been asking me to update it, so maybe that's what I need to do for it to work properly. But yeah, so they're on this Carnival cruise. They're having a good time. Then the power goes out, which alone is a huge problem for the people on board, because you have refrigeration units for food, and also the staff is not able to cook food. The AC is going to go out. The Wi-Fi is going to go out. It's just watch. I was watching this last night and I was like, oh my gosh, it got progressively worse.
More than 4,000 people are stuck on a cruise ship that is dead in the water.
That's when all of us were like, what the f?
When power goes, that's it. Everything's out.
It was immediately crisis mode.
That we can do a #1 in the shower. And then...
I'm telling you, it got bad fast.
I would never expect having to poop in a red bag.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Mm-mm.
No.
And a lot of them didn't, and made the problem worse by not pooping in the biohazard bags. Tonyman says, I'll update it tomorrow. Doc says, that's a cute one. I have a striped prop puppet. I got it used for $60. He has stoner eyes, so I named him Keith. I put a rainbow handkerchief on his head to cover his stripes, so he can be his own character. Maybe that's what that's meant to say.
Suddenly, everyone's out for themselves.
You could hear the panic. We were starting to smell urine.
Oh my God.
It was terrifying.
We had camera people, crews on boats, a helicopter up in the air.
Fights broke out.
Oh, the ship is on fire.
What the is happening on this cruise ship?
It's like shantytown.
It's like something that came out of a nightmare movie.
The snowball has started to roll, and
yeah, that was nasty. That was very difficult to watch. Extremely difficult to watch. All right, what I'm going to do, I hope you guys don't mind it, is I'm going to stop sharing entirely because it's just slowing progress down like super, super slow. So unfortunately, I'm going to do things old school way. Let me close out this tab completely, and we're going to have to imagine the news stories and interact with the chat a little bit more. So I have a couple Blumhouse stories. And what I'm going to do is, if I see an image on my phone, I'll just hold it up. No, Tony Man, I'm on 2G. I'm not on 5G. I switched that earlier because I thought that might be the issue when I was first trying to go live. That's why it didn't pop on right at 9:05. I had clicked it at 9:04, and the thing just kept on spinning. And then I reloaded the page, and I switched to 2G instead of 5G. Oh my gosh, I should not be on camera without makeup, but oh, this is just what we're gonna get today. I promise I'll bring the glamour back on my edited content, because I do have some movie reviews that I'm going to record, but I will put some makeup on before I record them. Okay, so in the first Blumhouse news, this comes from Deadline, and it's not a new. They didn't give us a new image. They just gave us the same image from Saw long time ago. It's the same image from Saw. Okay, so it says Blumhouse closes deal for Saw rights. Lionsgate still retains 50% interest in the horror property. This is written by Anthony D'Alessandro. Okay, it says, we told you first that Blumhouse is buying Twisted Pictures' share of the prospective rights to Saw. That deal, led by CAA Evolution, has now closed. As we previously reported, this puts the future of the Saw franchise back in the hands of its architect, James Wan. That's good news. Let me see some of the comments here. Eric says this was also a major news event in 2019-2020, talking about the Carnival Poop Cruise. Doc says, yep. Cheetah says, why you will never see me on a cruise ship. Same. Cheetah says, I rather go on a 3-hour cruise on the Minnow. Yeah, it was only supposed to be a 3-hour tour. Then on a cruise ship. Eric says, I like the 100% realness. Oh, well, thank you. Doc says, I know, after all the shit show cruises became, when the pandemic hit, I was like, nope, same. Oh, Tony says, you look beautiful even so. Well, thank you. Now, where was I? Oh, I gotta pop up. Zaxby's. Oh, they have quesadillas? Making me hungry. Okay. As we previously reported, this puts the future of the Saw franchise back in the hands of its architect, James, which I'm very happy about, whose Atomic Monster merged with Blumhouse last year. I didn't know that. That might be too much. James Wan and Jason Blum together, that's a lot of camp in one place. Wan directed the seminal first film, which was written by co-creator Lee Wanell and debuted in 2004. Blumhouse now officially has the shares of future films previously owned by producers Oren Kools and Mark Berg. Lionsgate retains a 50% interest in the IP that spans 10 movies, which have grossed more than, when it said grossed, I thought it was going to say which have grossed out more people than you can imagine. No, it says which have grossed more than 1 billion worldwide, as well as comic books, video games, theme park attractions, toys, masks, and clothing. The studio will continue to be a partner on the property and distribute movies. As far as the library goes, Content Partners has acquired a stake in the existing library alongside Berg's continued retained share. Lionsgate, which distributes the library, continues to retain its existing stake. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'd rather fly Spirit for 7 hours than go on a shitty cruise. Yeah. Quote, with the success of the 10th film, this felt like the right time to pass the baton, Cool said today. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built with Lionsgate over the past 20 years and deeply grateful to the fans who've been with us since the beginning. It's especially meaningful to see the franchise return to its original creators, James and Lee. And I can't think of a better partner than Jason to lead Saw into its next chapter. On a personal note, I know the late Greg Hoffman, my original partner on this journey, would be so happy with this ending. Said Berg, 21 years ago, we met James Wan and Lee Wanell and financed the first Saw movie. The film was magical and a hit beyond our wildest dreams, and our fans kept the franchise alive for over 20 years. Interesting fact, the first Saw was the last movie that I watched with my grandfather before he passed, and he was so surprised when Jigsaw got up at the end of the movie, and he just looked at me and he said, "That's a dang good movie." So where was I? It's been an amazing ride, and with the recent passing of our beloved executive producer, Jason Constantine, it's time for me to move on and tell new stories. Saw will always be a part of my history and Hollywood history, and I hope Jigsaw and the Saw universe live on for many more movies in years to come. Lastly, I'd like to thank all the amazing actors, crew, and Lionsgate executives who have worked with us on 10 movies over the past 20 years. None of this could have happened without you all. We wish James, Lee, and Jason huge success with the continuation of the franchise. James Wan had something to say. What do you guys think of this as I'm reading this? James Wan says, Saw holds a special place in my heart. It's where Lee and I began our Hollywood journey. Coming back to this world with a fresh perspective is both thrilling and deeply personal. For me, this will mark a significant creative return to the Saw franchise for the first time since the early days, and I'm very much looking forward to embracing the original spirit whilst pushing the legacy forward in bold, unexpected ways. The Saw franchise has defined a generation of horror, and its cultural impact continues to grow, making this a strategic investment in one of the most recognizable and successful genre properties of the last 2 decades. But what really excites me about bringing Saw to Blumhouse is having James and Lee back in the fold and to see the future of the franchise come to life with their guidance, says Blumhouse CEO and founder Jason Blum. Added Adam Fogelson, chair of the Lionsgate Motion Picture Group. Over the course of 10 chilling and thrilling Saw films, Oren and Mark have been outstanding partners, producers, and stewards of this billion-dollar franchise, which has played a massive role in Lionsgate history. As they pass the baton to James, whose direction started it all, and to Jason and the team at Blumhouse, Billy couldn't be in more gifted or twisted hands. Game on. All right, what do you guys think? Saw 11 YouTube edition starring Lady Shasha. Oh, that would be found footage. Eric says, we wish them continued revenue for decades to come. Let's check out our next story, which also concerns Blumhouse. Well, this one's a short one, I think. It's just about a poster. Just says Blumhouse releases kaiju-inspired Megan 2.0 poster by Phantom City Creative. And it says here, Blumhouse partnered with Mutant for kaiju-inspired Megan 2.0 poster designed by Phantom City Creative. Oh, did I mention who wrote this? Alex DiVincenzo for Bloody Disgusting. The Japanese-style artwork is available as a limited edition 24 by 36 print for $60. It's expected to ship on July 10th. The sequel to the 2023 hit slays into theaters this Friday, June 27th. Of course, this was meant to be said last week, but I had to change the date of the show. Director Gerard Johnston and writer Akilah Cooper, shout out to Akilah, are back for the follow-up, along with producers James Wan of Atomic Monster and Jason Blum of Blumhouse. Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Brian Jordan Alvarez, Jen Van Epps, Amy Donald, and Jenna Davis return to star alongside Ivana Sakno, Aristotle Afari, Tim Sharp, and Jermaine Clement. 2 years after Megan, a marvel of artificial intelligence, went rogue and embarked on a murderous rampage and subsequently destroyed, Megan's creator Gemma has become a high-profile author and advocate for government oversight of AI. Meanwhile, Gemma's niece, Katie, now 14, has become a teenager rebelling against Gemma's overprotective rules. I thought she called her... I could have sworn in the movie she called her 12, so because you're 12. Maybe I'm mistaken, or maybe I'm confusing it for another movie I watched last weekend, because I watched a few movies. Unbeknownst to them, the underlying tech for Megan has been stolen and misused by a powerful defense contractor to create a military-grade weapon known as Amelia, the ultimate killer infiltration spy. But as Amelia's self-awareness increases, she becomes decidedly less interested in taking orders from humans or in keeping them around. Which, didn't we learn this from Terminator? Didn't we learn this from The Matrix? That the AI will determine that human beings are wrecking the planet and therefore are a virus and must be eliminated. That's what all these AI movies teach us. From, like I said, from Terminator to The Matrix. I mean, of course, this is... as their paths collide, the original AI is about to meet her match. And here is the poster. What it's reminding me of, and I'm going to show my age to some of you younger people. Do you guys remember Ultraman? This kind of is giving a little bit of an Ultraman feel. What do you guys think of the poster? I think it looks kind of cool. Also, there is a story behind her outfit in the movie. At one point, I'll tell you because I've seen it. At one point, she does have to infiltrate by going to a convention. So the pink outfit is her convention cosplay costume. It's not like her regular clothes. So I thought that was a pretty cool convention, in more ways than another, plot convention to do that. But I enjoyed the movie. A lot of people will think that it has a lot in common with Terminator 2 as it's more action-packed. Than, you know how the first Terminator was very much horror sci-fi, and then the Terminator 2 was more sci-fi action. Megan is more sci-fi action like T2, but it has a lot more in common with RoboCop. I don't think a lot of people will pick up on the things that it has in common with RoboCop, but it has a lot of things in common with RoboCop, especially if you pay attention to the news reports that happen within the body of the film. Now in here, does it allow me to put the chat up on the screen? No, it doesn't. So I'm just gonna not mess with the chat. Sorry that I'm not showing your chats highlighted on the screen. I'm just gonna read them. Have Chief says, I just discovered Violet McGraw and Maddie Brewer. They did a little scene film called Separation. Tony Man says, I'm all sawed out, but we'll still watch another, I guess. And also, what was your question about movies watched this weekend? I can't remember now. Have Cheetah says, Ultraman, only 3 minutes to fight. Yes. Doc Hodges says, I love Ultraman. Makes me think Ultraman or Power Ranger. Yes. And I think that's what it's meant to make you think of. There's a lot of, I am going to do a spoiler review for Megan, but Megan 2.0. But Megan 2.0, I think honestly, it feels like an older person, elder millennial, Gen X, younger boomer will enjoy Megan 2.0 more than a younger person because of the references. There's certain things that, like, how many people are going to get the short circuit references in Megan 2.0? Not a lot of people are going to get the short circuit reference. What else did they reference? Lawnmower Man. There's not going to be a lot of people that are going to get that Lawnmower Man reference. These are kind of deep sci-fi cuts for, aside from the RoboCop stuff. There's more than that. That's just off the top of my head, but there's more than that. It really is. Megan 2.0 is really kind of love letter to those of us that grew up watching those type of sci-fi, more straight sci-fi horror. What is that? Midnight says, so Eva of Destruction is what they're ripping off. I was thinking more Terminator 2 because that was before Eva of Destruction. But yeah, Tony says, remember, the better the poster, the shittier the movie. At least it was like that in the 80s. I have Cheetah says, they ripped off Valerie 23 from The Outer Limits. Oh, I've got to check that out. I bet you that's one too. Because there's so many Outer Limits episodes from the 60s that get reproduced in modern films, and people don't know about it because The Outer Limits is not as popular as The Twilight Zone. They should do, like, this week, and I think they're doing a Twilight Zone marathon for the 4th of July. Do an Outer Limits marathon. The 1960s one. I didn't really enjoy the one from the 90s and early 2000s, but the 1960s Outer Limits was really good. Have Cheetah says, of course, the Cheetah and I watched Separation. Fomicky Life says, I didn't know there was that many Saws. Yes. And I think they're also counting Spiral, which was the one that was produced by Chris Rock. And, and speaking of, there was another news story that I just found out today. Let me pull it up. Yeah. Maytel Corporate. Yeah, just thank God for TikTok. I found this out on TikTok. Now I'm showing you, this is coming from the Maytel corporate site. Maytel and OpenAI announced strategic collaboration. What do you think that might be? What's the most popular toy that Maytel has? If you can recall, the most iconic popular toy that Maytel has. Midnight says 90s Outer Limits was the shit. I didn't get into it. I couldn't get into the one in the 90s. But I like the original one. The answer to the Mattel question is Barbie. And if Mattel is partnering with OpenAI, what do you think they're partnering to do? This is from corporate.mattel.com, El Segundo, California, June 12th, 2025. Mattel Incorporated, a leading global toy and family entertainment company and owner of one of the most iconic brand portfolios in the world, and OpenAI, today announced a strategic collaboration to support AI-powered products and experiences based on Mattel's brands. The agreement unites Mattel's and OpenAI's respective expertise to design, develop, and launch groundbreaking experiences for fans worldwide. By using OpenAI's technology, Mattel will bring the magic of AI to age-appropriate play experiences with an emphasis on innovation, privacy, and safety. With more than 80 years of earned trust from parents and families, Mattel is a leader in adopting new technologies to enhance fan engagement in a safe, thoughtful, and responsible way. As a central part of this collaboration, Mattel and OpenAI will emphasize safety, privacy, and security in the products and experiences that come to market. In addition, Mattel will incorporate OpenAI's advanced AI tool like ChatGPT Enterprise into its business operations to enhance product development and creative ideation, drive innovation, and deepen engagement with its audience. With OpenAI, Mattel will have advanced AI capabilities that can power the development and operations of consumer products and experiences. Brad Lightcap, Chief Operating Officer at OpenAI, said, "We're pleased to work with Mattel as it moves to introduce thoughtful AI-powered experiences and products into its iconic brands, while also providing its employees the benefits of ChatGPT. With OpenAI, Mattel has access to an advanced set of AI capabilities alongside new tools to enable productivity, creativity, and company-wide transformation at scale." Josh Silverman, Chief Franchise Officer at Mattel, said, "Each of our products and experiences is designed to inspire fans, entertain audiences, and enrich lives through play. AI has the power to expand on that mission and broaden the reach of our brands in new and exciting ways. Our work with OpenAI will enable us to leverage new technologies to solidify our leadership in innovation and reimagine new forms of play. Mattel and OpenAI will continue collaborating to simultaneously develop a series of products and experiences. Their first product is expected to be announced later this year. Mattel is a leading global toy and family entertainment company and owner of one of the most iconic brand portfolios in the world. We engage consumers and fans through our franchise brands, including Barbie, Hot Wheels, Fisher-Price, American Girl, Thomas & Friends, Uno, Masters of the Universe, Matchbox, Monster High, Mega, and Polly Pocket, as well as other popular properties that we own or license in partnership with global entertainment companies." So AI Barbie is coming. They learned nothing from Megan. They just said, "Oh, good idea. Let's do that." Doc Kaiju says Barbie. Yep. Tony says Mattel, not Maytel. Trust the Gordons. Is it Mattel? I've been saying Maytel for like 40 years. Midnight says the first season of the 90s Outer Limits was rough, but after that, masterpiece. So maybe that's what it is. I didn't make it through the first season, so maybe I got to go back and give it another look. Midnight says, "I agree. The Outer Limits is amazing." Have Cheetah says Black Mirror. Midnight says, "Yeah, Cheetah." And Have Cheetah says, "Maybe Mattel will make a kid-sized thermonuclear bomb." Yeah, I just feel like when people don't learn from sci-fi, it's very sad. It is unfortunate when society doesn't learn from science fiction. Okay, so what else do we have here? One more Blumhouse story, and then I'll move on. Let's open that one up. All right, this one is not such great news for Blumhouse. This is from IGN, and it's written by Wesley Yen Poole. IGN. Blumhouse boss gets candid on disastrous Megan 2.0 box office. Quote, "We all thought Megan was like Superman." Blumhouse boss Jason Blum has opened up on the disastrous launch of Megan 2.0, admitting to a number of failings. Megan 2.0 saw 10.2 million domestically and just 6.9 million internationally during its launch weekend, which suggests the first Megan movie released in December 2022 may have been lightning in a bottle moment with its eventual 180 million global haul. IGN's Megan 2.0 returned 6 out of 7. We said, quote, "Megan 2.0 hot swaps horror for sci-fi action to mixed results. But Megan's absolutely heinous wit and killer moves leave her, and not the new genres, the star of the show." But why did Megan 2.0 flop so hard? I think it's because of the advertising. I think they showed too much. They should have done maybe just teasers. And a lot of the references that are in the Megan movie are 30 to 40 years old. Because remember, Short Circuit came out, what, 86? So that's 39 years old. That's a 39-year-old reference that you're using. Someone like me, I'm going to get the references. I'm going to have a good time. But you have a whole generation called Z and younger millennials and alphas that went to see this, and they're not going to get the references, so they're not going to get the jokes in it. Because it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's very, I would almost call it I think it is kind of a comedy in a lot of ways. But why did Megan 2.0 flop so hard? CEO of Blumhouse Productions, Jason Blum, appeared on the latest episode of The Town with Matthew Baloney podcast to reveal his early thoughts. Quote, "I've been in pain all weekend long, and I've been thinking about all this stuff way too much," Blum began in the 20-minute chat. "If Blumhouse is in a slump, I'd like to tell that story. I don't want other people telling that story." Blum revealed that 10 weeks before launch, Megan 2.0 was tracking to open to 45 million. Quote, "And we were seriously talking how amazing it would be for the little movie Megan to outgross F1. But those predictions went downhill fast. With 8 weeks to go, it was 40. At 6 weeks, it was 35. And at 4 weeks, 30. The first movie did 32 million, Blum said. We had an N. We thought we'd do maybe 20% less than the first movie. So 30 was good. International, same thing." He continued, 5 days before opening, it goes from 30 to 20. That's Monday. So then I was upset. Thursday, we were really at 20, maybe 19. And I was in a death spiral of depression. Wake up Monday morning and it's 10. This is where Blum got into the weeds on Megan 2.0 opening weekend. "We all thought Megan was like Superman," he said. "We could do anything with her. We could change genres. We could put her into summer. We could make her look different. We could turn her from a bad guy into a good guy. And we classically overthought how powerful people's engagement was really with her. We decided to genre swap. The audience was not ready to genre swap. People wanted more Megan, just like she is." This is in reference to Megan 2.0 being less of a thriller horror like the first film and more an action comedy. Clearly, this didn't work. The second is, we thought she could live in the summer. Blum continued, "We thought we're going from a little horror movie to a tentpole. Again, this release window change didn't work." Yeah, other franchises that have done that and have also seen mixed results. Alien, if you compare the first Alien, which is straight sci-fi horror, slow burn, to Aliens, which is more action sci-fi, way more fast-paced. And like I mentioned before, original Terminator almost felt like watching. I would actually include it in slasher movies. I would include the first Terminator as a slasher movie. I mean, out of the way the Terminator goes about his business is very slasher coded. The first Predator, same thing, very slasher coded. What else changed tone? Oh, Texas Chainsaw. The first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it was supposed to be a little bit satirical, but I don't think the audience got the satire in the original Chainsaw Massacre. I think we all took it as, what it was. And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, straight up comedy, like completely goofball. And I don't know you know, the box office take of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But not many movies survive a genre change, or not many franchises survive a genre change. Let's see here. Tony says, Maytel, Jesus. Fomiki Light says, AI generated Thomas the Tank Engine, horrifying. Hey, double features in the house. They say, hey, everyone. Midnight says, hey, double feature. Double feature says, haven't seen a new Megan film yet. Tony says it flopped because it wasn't a horror movie. They tried to reinvent the wheel. Hey, double feature. By the way, hot take: dangerous animals bored me to death. This I have heard. So let me say anything more in this article, or should I? I'll finish it out. It's only got a couple more paragraphs. Quote, when you genre switch, your execution has to be an A+, Blum said. We did get a higher cinema score on this Megan than our last Megan. The few who saw it really liked it. The critics were mixed, a little worse than the first Megan. Blum then suggested that the shorter amount of time director Gerard Johnson had to turn around the second film for its summer release, compared to its first, was a contributing factor. We got too excited by Megan, and you know she didn't work. Blum concluded that's what happened. Oh, speaking of that, I had mentioned that the short circuit reference was 39 years old. And of course, the Terminator reference, RoboCop references. There's another one. There's a fight sequence where there's certain literal fights that come directly from the first Matrix. And like, when did that come out? Hold on. What year did the first Matrix movie come out? 1999. So that's a 26-year-old reference. The people that seem, not seem most, but I think a lot of young people were very attracted to the Megan movie. I'm talking like tweens, teens, young adults, I think were largely Megan's like fan club. They're not going to get these references really. I mean, some might, but isn't it wild to think the Matrix is 26 years old? The Matrix is 26 years old. Wow. But I don't think they're going to pick up on those little things. Oh, the oldest one, the oldest reference in this movie that hardly anyone's going to get is to Metropolis from 1927. I think the movie is just, it was shooting for the stars and it aimed too high. It needed to be advertised to real diehard sci-fi fans. Because how many people in this chat have seen Metropolis? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen Metropolis. I believe it's 1927. What year did Metropolis come out? Yep, I was right. March 13th, 1927. Yeah. How many people are going to pick up on a reference from 1927? Now, where was I? Tony Man says, Super Friends reference, why did they always change to things like a jump rope or a bucket of water? Tony Man says, they even referenced Steven Seagal movies. They did. In one of the, was it a Mission Impossible movie? Which movie is it? Tom Cruise jumps off a cliff and he's got like, it's not a parachute. It's like this suit that kind of makes you look like a flying squirrel. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a base jumper or anything like that. I've never hand glided, nothing aerial. But Megan does that, and I'm like, that's a reference to either Mission Impossible or maybe it was I think it was Mission Impossible. One of the Mission Impossibles. I don't know which one. Doc Kaiju says, I have not seen Metropolis. Definitely check it out. It is one of the earliest sci-fi movies, and it is I remember pretty good. I have not watched it since high school, to be honest with you. I need to watch it with my more developed frontal lobe. I'll probably enjoy it even more. So I said I saw it for 25 cents. Are you trying to, if you're trying to quote my grandmother, Tony Man, she went to the movies for 5 cents, not 25 cents. In the 1930s and 40s, it was only 5 cents to go to the movie theater. But she wouldn't have seen that in the theater. She was too young. She would have seen the 1930s Dracula, Frankenstein, the 1940s Wolfman or Invisible Man. Invisible Man, I always get my 30s and my 40s movies mixed up, and I need to get better at that. But The Invisible Man, she definitely saw that multiple times. Double features, I believe it's Mission Impossible. See, I'm waiting for Tony Man to answer because he usually has all the Mission Impossible movies memorized. But enough of Blumhouse. What else is up? There is a short review for An Eye for an Eye. Let's open that up. And it's got a picture of the star. This is from Collider. It has a picture of the star of the movie. It says, this brilliantly dark new folk horror is the Boogeyman movie 2025 needed. It's written by Luna Guthrie. Have Cheetah says, which Seagal movie was referenced? I want to say it was Above the Law. I think it was Above the Law, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so this says, the horror renaissance keeps on delivering. It is a real pleasure to see the volume and variety of horror movies coming our way over the past year or so. Slashers, gothic horror, horror comedies, supernatural spooktaculars. We're being treated to a genre buffet full of flavors, and I am loving every moment of it. I was particularly excited to see a movie that feels like a throwback to the best of the trippy supernatural horrors of the unfairly maligned 2000s, along the lines of Dead Silence or The Skeleton Key. A movie with dark atmospheric visuals, a far removed setting, and a protagonist completely out of her element. Eye for an Eye is based on the book Mr. Sandman by Alyssa Victoria and has all the charm, dread, and intrigue that I was hoping it would. Here is a movie that instantly pulls you into its orbit with a basic enough premise that any good horror fan has seen before, but one that is delivered with such keen vision that you can't help but feel immediately invested. What is An Eye for an Eye about? And it does have a few pictures here. Let's see if I can scroll it. Oh, for the twins, the reason why I'm doing this stream this way is StreamYard only allowed me to stream so many hours per month, and I reached the cap. So now I have to stream directly on YouTube. And when I tried to use my OBS to screen share, it was slowing my computer down to molasses. So I'm doing old school, low-fi, low-tech. Shout out to shout out to being old. When you're old, you can do low-tech stuff. Okay, I just have to hold this way and see if I can. It's on the other side. Oh, shoot. There we go. See if I can advance. No? Because I'm trying to do it backwards and I can't do it backwards. So I got to do it this way. There's I think I showed you that image before. Looks like she's literally eating an eyeball. There's another image from the movie. That girl kind of reminds me of the sister from Jeepers Creepers. I don't know if that's her, but she looks similar to her. Yeah, these pictures, fortunately, don't really, other than the eyeball eating, it's not really spoiling much of the movie, so I'm glad for that. Okay, it says, An Eye for an Eye opens with a text crawl that introduces the Sandman, a frightful folklore figure who is said to steal people's eyes in their dreams. The opening scene is a wonderful, surreal nightmare sequence that does a solid job of introducing the stakes, the antagonist, and one of the key characters. We flash to the present day where Anna, played by Whitney Peake, is moving in with her grandmother, May, played by Esapatha Murkison. I like Esapatha Murkison, who is blind and lives in a house in the middle of a swamp, already classic horror territory. Anna's parents were recently killed in a car accident, and it would seem that while they were alive, she didn't have much to do with her extended family. She is now having to integrate herself with people she doesn't really know, while dealing with the trauma and grief. Anna gets involved with a couple of local teens, Sean and Julie, played by Finn Bennett and Laken Giles, who at first seem cool, but it soon becomes clear that they are Stephen King-level bullies. Anna, clearly not the best at dealing with conflict and still finding her feet in this new chapter of life, doesn't have the confidence to stand up to the duo when they attack a young boy one day. What none of the kids know at this point is that the Sandman can be summoned to deal with such issues, and he doesn't take too hard to bullies. This setup gives way to one of those cathartic types of horror movies that deal with real-world problems in a very satisfying way, without ever spilling over into the campier elements of the genre that Final Destination or every dead teenager slasher ever does. It's not really about cheering the vengeful ghost and seeing the wacky ways he can do somebody in. It's more of a grounded and serious meditation on the consequences of one's decisions, while still maintaining a firm grip on his audience. But I want to see the wacky ways that, what did they say? It's not really about cheering on the vengeful ghost and seeing the wacky ways he can do somebody in. I want to see the wacky ways he can do somebody in. That's what I'm here for. I like that type of messiness. It says, an eye for an eye is wonderfully atmospheric. I always get a little bit, it always gives me pause when someone just says a movie is atmospheric, because it's not really saying much to me. Like, something can be very atmospheric, but is something happening in the movie? Is it going to be entertaining, or is it just going to be, okay, we've made all this tension and dread, but no payoff? I want a payoff for my tension and dread. It's easy, given the dream world angle of the horror, to assume that this is going to be another take on A Nightmare on Elm Street. I would love that. I would love for you guys to do more takes on A Nightmare on Elm Street, because I'm kind of sick of everyone trying to do everything but Freddy. We've had countless killer doll movies after Chucky, and before Chucky, to be fair, because Black Devil Doll from Hell came out before Chucky. We've got countless mass killers, that are all doing their best. Jason, Michael, Leatherface. We need more babies of Freddy Krueger. So where was I? And although they have a thing or two in common, this is a very different beast in all the best ways. It better not be one of those all in their head movies, because those are a waste of time. Freddy may be an icon, but you could argue that his bitchy zingers and scenery chewing rubs the edge of. No, I love all of his singers. No, Freddy slander will not be tolerated here. No, go on ahead with that. So the best thing to do is to lean into the desperation of such a premise and dial up the horror of it. Eye for an Eye does a tremendous job of this, and in the process creates a dream world that is rich, visceral, and captivating. When our characters fall asleep, they wander through worlds that sort of make sense. Snippets of their lives or recent experiences worm their way into the subconscious and manifest in ways that don't quite make sense. A man in a rabbit costume becomes a real black and white rabbit, and when we look back, the rabbit is suddenly white. It's all these brilliant little touches that give a true sense of nightmare to the action. And it takes a movie with this sort of thought and observational detail to make you realize how, yeah, that's cool, the rabbit's cool, but do you have a dream goat, though? Do you have a dream goat? Because that's top tier. Let me see. Tony says Cheetah was a law. Tony says, no worries, guys. It will be there tomorrow. I will be there. IT will be there tomorrow to assist. Doc says, is the remake considered to be Freddy slander? I feel like it was. Yes, it absolutely was. Yes. And Doc says, had to step away. We're getting new Freddy. And it says, an eye for an eye is, you know what looked more Nightmare on Elm Street to me than the trailer for An Eye for an Eye? The trailer for that new, oh gosh, what's the name of the movie? I can see the person's mask. It's a guy who was snatching up kids. Oh man, what was that movie came out maybe the year before last? And the dude had a weird mask. And he was snatching up kids and he was locking them in. Was the Black Phone? I think it was called The Black Phone. The Black Phone 2, the trailer for that looked way more Nightmare on Elm Street to me, and I like that. It's kind of like, and Tony Man doesn't know this because he has not watched it yet. And don't say whether you like it or not, Tony Man, because you have not seen it. But Prom Night 2, Hello, Mary Lou, very much Nightmare on Elm Street inspired, and I enjoyed that about it. So anyway, it says, An Eye for an Eye is outstanding in its nightmarish landscapes. And the use of color, visual shapes, sounds, and camera movements makes it feel so uncomfortably jarring. All right, where is there's a lot. This is a long review. I'm not going to read more of it because I feel like it's going to get into spoiler territory. Is it saying where this is playing? Is this in theaters? Is this where are people watching An Eye for an Eye? It's not showing. Well, I'll do my own search. Let's check my Roku app and see if An Eye for an Eye is on streaming or whether it's supposed to be in theaters. That could be one of those reviews where they got an early copy and the movie's not out yet. Let's see, An Eye for an Eye. Is it out yet? Well, I think something is up with the internet because I might have to turn. Okay, that's not working. Let's check IMDb. Could be the app. So let's see. An Eye. Oh, it's just called Eye for an Eye. Okay, it's available to rent on Prime Video. That's what it's showing here. So that's what people are watching, Prime Video. I will probably wait till it comes to the streaming services that I'm already paying for. I probably won't pay to see it. Doc says Robert Englund is really a really nice. I've always heard that about him. Yeah. When I worked for a hotel company, a coworker had him on the phone. She kind of tormented him, and he was super sweet. Tony says, by the way, the HD version of Let Her In came out today. You liked Black Phone. I was thinking of that Peter Pan movie. Yeah, I thought Black Phone was okay. I didn't think it was great. Like everyone was like crazy, and I just thought, yeah, it's okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't amazing. It was just okay. I'm actually looking forward to the sequel. The sequel looks more interesting. Yeah, you're thinking of Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. That was terrible. I mean, it had good bones. Like it could have done something really good, but then it just I don't know. Something went left. Okay. There's a new movie coming out called Brick. It's from Netflix. This is from a new well, I don't know if it's new. It's new to me. There is a website called Gore Culture. If you can see at the top there, it says goreculture.com. And they have a trailer. It just says Netflix's Brick trailer blends Cube and the platform in a sci-fi thriller. Okay, it says imagine waking up to find your apartment sealed shut by a mysterious high-tech wall with no way out and no clue why. That's the chilling premise of Brick, the upcoming sci-fi mystery thriller hitting Netflix on July 10th. Echoing the claustrophobic tension of Cube and the eerie social allegory of the platform, Brick follows Tim and Olivia, a couple who awaken to find their home and the entire apartment complex suddenly enclosed by an impenetrable wall that wasn't there the night before. They're not alone. The other residents are trapped too. And as panic spreads, so do the questions. Who built the wall? Why are they being contained? And what will it take to escape? With no hope of rescue from the outside, the tenants must work together to uncover the truth behind their confinement before it's too late. Brick stars Matthias Schugofer and Ruby O. Fee, alongside Frederick Lau, Salber Lee Williams, Marathon Muslu, Axel Werner, Sira Anna Faal, and Alexander Bayer. The German language film is written and directed by Friend Request co-writer Philip Koch. And there's the poster for Brick. It sounds cool, but I don't know whether I'm in the mood for something that's like the platform or like Squid Game. I feel like the dystopian stuff it's too close to home now. I don't know. It kind of feels like we're in a dystopia. Sorry about that. Notifications were on. All right, so let's get into there's another movie. It is a medieval zombie flick. That sounds interesting. Can I click on this? No. What's happening? Okay. It's not, let me click on that. Oh, there we go. Open. All right. They're using a picture that's from Army of the Dead. I don't know why. Oh, this site is Pop-Up City. I might not be able to do this one because it's got a pop-up that is in French. All right, so we're going to skip that one because that one has a pop-up. Will not let me exit the screen, and it's in French, so it is what it is. So let's get to releases, new releases. Okay, I've got something from Bloody Disgusting. It's written by John Squires, and it says, Sweet Revenge, Jason Universe announces Jason Voorhees short film from director Mike P. Nelson. How do we feel about the Jason Universe? Has anyone heard anything about it? Tony says, I'm not paying. I have ways to see it. Key says, I'm a lurker. Just wanted to say hello, Lady Shasha and everyone. Did you hear that AMC Theater is now showing 30-minute ads before the movie starts because of low revenue? Oh, wow. No, I have not heard that. Let's look at, you know what? I'm going to post, I'll come back to this Sweet Revenge and let's look that up. AMC 30 minutes. You said 30-minute ads. Okay, I found an article from The Verge. There you go. Thank you for that, Key. From The Verge. It says AMC now warns moviegoers to expect 25 to 30 minutes of ads and trailers. Before I start reading this, I do have to say that when I worked in a movie theater back in the 90s, I think the top amount of ads we had at one time, well, there were trailers. Let me not confuse the two because there's ads and there's trailers. But when I worked in a movie theater, and it was kind of a fun time at the time that I worked because it was when I think Jurassic Park came out, The Matrix came out. What else was out when I worked in the movie theater? Blade, I remember that was so much fun. That first Blade movie when it came out. Something About Mary, I remember watching that over and over again. The Phantom Menace came out, but at that time there was 18 minutes of trailers, routinely 18 minutes. It's almost 20 right there. So they're going up. Now, when I read this, I'm interested to find out whether the 25 to 30 minutes are just ads or does that include the trailers? So it says here, AMC now warns moviegoers to expect 25 to 30 minutes of ads and trailers, making it easier to arrive when your movie is about to start. Thank you, Tony Man. I'm glad you said that. He says, hello, Key, no need to lurk. Come join the family. Yes, I forgot to say welcome, Key. Double Feature says, I want to see Ziam. It's a new zombie film coming out. I have to look that up. Tony Man says, let's not forget the ad for the special. Yes, there used to be several ads for different charities. There was one with the children saying, don't laugh at me. There was one for, was it March of Dimes or something like that? Because I remember when I used to have to usher, we had to go down the aisles with a canister and kind of ask people for change. And it was kind of difficult to do because like it was during a recession at that time. So. Okay, it says here, this is written by Jess Weatherbeck, by the way. AMC Theaters making it easier for moviegoers. Look at how they're trying to turn something negative into a positive. This is for you. It's making it easier for you. Sure. Okay. AMC Theaters is making it easier for moviegoers to know the actual start time of their film screening and avoid sitting through lengthy ads. A new notice has started appearing when people purchase tickets via the AMC website, warning that movies start 25-30 minutes after showtime. This already mirrors the estimated runtime of AMC's pre-show content, which includes ads and trailers. Like, that's the only way I know, what's her name? Rebecca Menounos or something Menounos. I just know her from the AMC ads and also there's that ad with Nicole Kidman in the sparkly white suit. Okay, so which includes ads and trailers, but now customers will be better informed if they want to arrive a little later. Or is that with Regal? I might be confusing Regal and AMC. Where is that? Be a little informed if they want to arrive a little later without missing the start of their movie. This small change also tracks with a report made by Hollywood Reporter last week that said AMC will soon start addressing the pre-show and the pre-show on its ticketing platforms. Starting today, AMC will also show more ads than before, meaning its pre-show lineup may have to be reconfigured to avoid exceeding the 30-minute mark. The company made an agreement with the National Cinema Media Ad Network that includes as much as 5 minutes of commercials shown after a movie's official start time, according to the Hollywood Reporter. An additional 30 to 60-second platinum spot that plays before the last one or two trailers. AMC was the only major theater chain to reject the national media ad spot when it was pitched in 2019, telling Bloomberg at the time that it believed U.S. moviegoers would react quite negatively. Now struggling financially amid an overall decline in movie theater attendance and box office grosses, AMC has reversed course, telling the Hollywood Reporter that its competitors have fully participated for more than 5 years without any direct impact to their audience. There are comments on this. Let me click on the comments. Let's see what it says here. Or can I click on the comments without having to log in? Okay, so Casual says, give us a 30-minute extended cut of the Nicole Kidman ad, you cowards. That is hilarious. Verge user M51 says, seems silly to call it out so explicitly. Like, okay, if the movie is supposed to start at 7 on my ticket, and you're telling me there's going to be 25 to 30 minutes of ads starting at 7, I'm going to plan on being at the theater and walking in at 7:25 to 7:30. Whereas at least when there were fewer ads, I'd probably show up at 7 and just deal with the trailers for a bit. Only Sublime says, then they realize all the ad time cuts into how many times they can run movies over the day. That's a good point. Tony says, be honest, Lady Shasha, when you guys handed the donation cups, did people put candy wrappers in them? I may have once or twice. I don't know because I never counted the money. When the ushers would go down the aisle to, use the donate to collect the donations, we would immediately have to go back and give those to the managers. So the managers would have to open them up and see what's in them. Let's see here. Greetings Starfighter says, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I used to love watching the trailers before movies and would jokingly say something like, more, give me more. And when I see a movie with a girlfriend, but nowadays it seems like there's almost as many, if not more commercials than there are trailers. It seems wrong that you pay $15 for a ticket, $10 to $15 for food, and maybe another $10 to $15 for beverages. Watch the pre-movie local ads on the screen and then have to sit through another 25 or 30 minutes of ads and trailers. It's not surprising that people don't want to go to the movies as much anymore. And I'm a huge movie fan. Ramen Junkie says, joke's on them. I already arrived to the movies 30 minutes late on purpose. Osha Watt says, here in Italy, it's been like this for a while. People even start coming 15 minutes after the scheduled time. Once I saw 6 ad trailers for the same movie, Mufasa, and another time there was a trailer for the same movie I was about to watch. It's crazy. Know what I think would bring people back to theaters? Lower, oh my God, I've never been this shiny in my life. Oh my gosh. Lower the price of the concessions. I know they say, oh, we make our money off the concessions, but you are robbing people. The average cup of soda costs 16 cents, and they charge you how much for a 16 cents cup? You're making mad money off of the concessions. However, because they're so high, a lot of people are just like, nah, I'll just go to Dollar Tree, get my snacks, and watch, Shudder, Netflix, or what other apps do people watch? Tubi at home, which is why what I like to do: go to Dollar Tree, get some movie theater snacks, go back home, and watch whatever you watch. The other thing that could be cutting into this is a lot of people now have their own home entertainment centers. Like People have 4K televisions. People have Bose sound systems in their house. And it's like you can kind of have the movie theater experience in your own house without annoying other people. Like if you want to eat nachos loudly in your living room, you can. You know you're not annoying anybody else because you're home. If you want to talk through the movie like me, like I'm the person I want to say, why are you going in there? Don't you see that the ghost just, why would you do that? That's me. I can do that at home. In a movie theater, I got to bite my tongue. Half Cheetah says theaters are so lost. And also I watch at home. And Doc Hart says, I like watching at home so I can enjoy it with my friend Miss Cannon. Yes, that too. I approve that message, Doc Haiju. Yeah, I think the movie theater experience is no longer fun. Also because, you know how I say just now that I have to bite my tongue in a movie theater? That's because I choose to actually be a person that is conscientious of other people. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that come to the movie theater and don't really care. I've seen a guy stand up and take a phone call and walk back and forth in front of the screen on his phone so that everyone knows that he's such a businessman. And it's like, dude, go in the hallway. You're a jerk face. No one cares that you're not impressing me. Get the hell out in front of the screen. It's just bad. Tony Man says, pre-game, Doc, pre-game. Yep. Oh, I remember those days too when we used to be, well, in Florida, they have a bar at the movie theater, which doesn't always help things because people don't always act like they know how to hold their liquor. I'll put it that way. Have Cheetah says, spark up a fatty and then get the munchies. Yes. Let me see, what was the story I left off on? Let me go back to it. It was about Sweet Revenge. Let me see what that's about. Okay, that's from Bloody Disgusting, written by John Squires. Sweet Revenge, Jason Universe announces Jason Voorhees short film from director Mike P. Nelson. I don't know if you guys are really excited about Jason Universe. I don't know whether it might be overkill. We'll see. It says here a multi-platform expansion of the franchise from its original owners, the Jason Universe, has been taking shape this year with everything from NECA toys to a Halloween Horror Nights attraction announced thus far. What else is coming this year, you ask? Variety has announced Sweet Revenge this afternoon, described as a short-form vignette that will serve as the centerpiece of the franchise's bold 45th anniversary campaign. What the hell does that mean? Well, it sounds like Sweet Revenge is a glorified commercial for Angry Orchard Hard Cider, with the short set to debut on the Jason Universe YouTube channel, as well as a site hosted by Angry Orchard. Variety notes in their report that Angry Orchard is, quote, sponsoring the vignette as part of a larger collaboration with the French franchise. Jason Universe teases fans will drop into a chilling weekend in the woods filled with blood-soaked surprises only Jason can deliver. Sweet Revenge will be directed by Mike P. Nelson from Wrong Turn, who also recently wrapped production on Cineverse and Bloody Disgusting Silent Night, Deadly Night reboot. They're rebooting Silent Night, Deadly Night? I forgot about that. I think I might have heard about that, but for some reason I don't remember. Quote, I am so grateful that the team at Horror Inc. saw something in Sweet Revenge and wanted it as part of the Jason Voorhees story, Nelson said in a statement. And to think 30 years ago, I was trying to secretly watch these movies on VHS when no one was looking. To have the opportunity to write and direct one of these stories is surreal, not to mention having an amazing team led by Chad Villegas and Brianna Lee Johnson. Help me bring it to life. Not only is the vignette a new take on the beloved IP, it is comforting. It's a comforting, gory hug, reminding us why we fell in love with these movies. Much gruesome fun awaits you. Friday the 13th LLC's Mark Toberoff added, Jason has always been a force in pop culture, and the 45th anniversary felt like the perfect moment to do something truly unexpected. Partnering with Horror Inc. and Angry Orchard, who share our passion, has opened up a new way to engage fans. It's exciting to see the franchise evolve with such creativity while staying true to what makes Jason iconic. We were beyond excited when Mike Nelson came on board an Ang Orchard sponsored production to help us bring this to life in a wickedly unexpected way. Okay, so this is a lot of article for just a short. They are showing the NECA Jason figurine that's come up. It just feels like they're kind of trying to beat a dead horse. I don't know why they just don't want to make another sequel. Just make another sequel. You could do this. And if you're worried about the whole cell phone connection, just say, oh, the camp's in a dead zone. We still have those in the U.S., you know. I was in one when I went to, there was an island, Anderson Island, which is off the coast of Seattle, Washington. A lot of dead zones on Anderson Island with no cell reception. Like, so like you can't use that as excuses. Oh, how do we write around that? It's not that hard to write around that. Tony Man says, I'm tired of the universes. Remember Train to New York was in the Train to Busan universe too. You still have that article I sent you, right? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, I should pull that up. That's a good idea. No, what I'll do, I think I'll do that article and then I will let you guys go for the night because, like I said, I wasn't going to do it too long tonight. As I said, the fan on my computer is going. And I need to learn this this OBS stuff way better and not get on camera without any powder on my face ever again because, wow, oil slick city. Look at this. You could probably see every freckle, too. You can see, you could see every freckle. There it is. It's from iHorror. It says James Wan clarifies that Last Train to New York isn't a remake of Train to Busan, but a spin-off set in the same universe. Creatively, it takes place in the same world as Train to Busan. I hope that could get off the ground eventually. So Train to Busan, is it directed by Wan or is he producing? Because he's done this a few times where he'll put a picture of himself with the camera, and then you look it up and it says he's a producer and not the director. So let's look that up. Let's look up. So it's called Last Train to New York. Let me see if it has a listing yet. To New York. I still think they should have made it Boston. The Last Train to New York. It's in pre-production. Yeah, he did it again. This is directed by Timu Tajajanto. And it's written by Gary Doberman. Now, Timu's name sounds familiar. Let me look what Timu did because I'm not gonna, prejudge. But it still is listed as a remake. James, you better call them up and tell them to take the description down because the description says remake of the 2016 Korean film Train to Busan about a father traveling with his daughter on a train during a zombie outbreak. So if Mr. James Wan is saying it is in the same universe and not remake, you need to update that. Let me see what Timu has done before because that name sounds familiar. Timu, he did a short in VHS 2 in 2013. He did Killers in 2014. Oh, he did The Night Comes for Us. Have you guys seen The Night Comes for Us? That was a good ass movie. Okay, now I'm looking more positively because I like The Night Comes for Us. That was a dope. This is the poster. I think when I saw The Night Comes for Us, it was on Shudder, but apparently it's on Netflix now as well. Watch The Night Comes for Us. I believe it has Equal Waste in it. Am I correct? It had Equal Waste, and who else was in it? Let me look at the cast list. Yes, Equal Waste, Joe Taslim, Sunny Pang, Julia Stell, Sharifa Danish. There's a bunch of people in it. Zach Lee. You can see. Let's see right there. Yes, The Night Comes for Us. Okay, that makes me feel a lot more positively What about the writer? What has he done? Let's go back and check out. The name sounds familiar, but I can't place. Gary Doberman. Well done, Gary Doberman. He's known for writing the Conjuring universe spin-off horror films Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, The Nun. It's a little bit dicey, Doberman, because Annabelle Creation I really liked a lot. That was probably the best one, was Annabelle Creation. The first Annabelle, just so-so, but it had its moments. The Nun, not so much. I would call it, it's not horrible, but mediocre. It goes in the pile of mediocre. And it says, in co-writing the 2017 film adaptation of it based on the novel of the same name by Stephen King. Oh, you wrote the 8th film adaptation, so are you responsible for that fuck ass shit that they did to Mike Hanlon's character? Because if that's so, then you know, we're not cool. I'm not cool with that, Gary Doberman. If you are responsible for what happened to Mike Hanlon's character in the 2017 It film, I'm trying to not say the curse things that I want to say, but that was not cool at all, and I don't like that. And now you're writing something that takes place in New York, which is a very diverse city. If you have a problem with people of color, I don't think you're a good writer for this franchise. If you're going to do that, I hate that. I hate it so much. Is the cast list on here yet? No cast list. It's still in pre-production, but one step forward, 2 steps back. And I'm so not happy with that. I'm so not happy with that. All right. I think, well, I don't want to end on such a downer. Do I have anything funny? Okay, here's something fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is coming back in the theater. Let me give you the details on that, and then we'll get out of here. Okay, so Tobe Hooper's Texas Chainsaw Massacre returns to theaters in August with Chain Reactions preview. Let me see. Tony says you really can't tell. Mika says not sure about this remake. And Tony says Joe Tran. Okay. So this says, oh, by the way, this is by Bloody Disgusting, written by Alex DiVincenzo. Dark Sky Films and Fathom Events are turning August 18th, the date the nightmarish events of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre occurred, into Texas Chainsaw Day. The 4K restoration of Tobe Hooper's seminal horror masterpiece will return to theaters for one day only, accompanied by an exclusive sneak peek of the upcoming documentary Chain Reactions. Few films have left such an incredible mark on the horror genre and popular culture as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, said Dark Sky Executive Vice President Justin DiPietro. We are proud to celebrate its legacy with Fathom Entertainment and give audiences the chance to experience this landmark film together in theaters. With a 4K restoration and an exclusive new look at Chain Reactions, August 18th will be a day of celebration for fans of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, added Fathom Entertainment CEO Ray Nutt. Horror has long been a staple in the wide array of classic and genre-based theatrical movies Fathom brings to audiences nationwide, and the Texas Chainsaw Day will be a cinematic experience like no other. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre was recently added to the Library of Congress National Film Registry, recognizes movies that are of cultural, historic, or aesthetic importance which preserve the nation's film heritage. In the 1974 classic, 5 youths travel through rural Texas, fall prey to a butcher in a mask made of human skin and his cannibalistic family. You guys should know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre by now, but they have a new poster. It's pretty much the old poster, except for they left off the tagline. It says Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day, August 18th. The original poster, I believe it said, who will be left and what will be left of them, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look it up. Texas Chainsaw Massacre original theatrical poster. No, I'm not trying to buy it. I just want to see it. Yep. It's Who Will Survive and What Will Be Left of Them. That's the original poster. And then it says at the bottom, what happened is true. Now the motion picture that's just as real. Which they actually kind of lied on here because it's not what happened. It is inspired by a true story, but I believe it's one of the 3 movies based off of Ed Gein. It's Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's a 3rd one that's also based off of Ed Gein. It might have been a little bit of Silence of the Lambs, but all 3 movies changed a bit of what Ed Gein did. Like he totally was skinning people. Yeah, he was doing that. He had lamps made out of human skin, all kind of crazy stuff. But yeah, those were inspired by him. Tarn said, so we'll be annoyed by what, by, was it Franklin in HD 4K? Yes. Know what I think they should do? They should put Texas Chainsaw Massacre in in the 4DX theater with the shaky seats. Yeah. Every time you hear the chainsaw vroom vroom, your seat shakes. I would go to that, absolutely. But it is time for me to get off here because actually I actually need to eat dinner. I'm gonna eat dinner. Oh, by the way, I did recalibrate my. I'll show you something, a little inside look at my life. I had to, because you guys know I have anemia. This is me trying to recalibrate my vitamins and finding out that I was supposed to have for iron, I was supposed to have 150 to 200 milligrams of iron, and I was only taking in 99 milligrams of iron. This is for anemics if you have that particular blood deficiency. So that's what was going on, and that affects so much. It can cause, well, what I was having was extreme fatigue, nausea, dizziness. It's terrible, and of course, skin broke out, hair was coming out in clumps, all kind of mess. But I think I got it in control. Now I just have to figure out, there's a little button here that says end stream. I'm not going to have the ending bumper because I haven't figured out how to do that using this YouTube's native platform. I guess YouTube's native platform is a lot more like Instagram Live, unless you integrate it more with OBS. But I thank you all for coming through tonight. I really appreciate you sticking with me, even though this is the jankiest live stream, the jankiest live stream. Hopefully tomorrow we will be back up to speed because I think I will be able to use StreamYard again, at least tomorrow. But I still am going to investigate using YouTube because, like I said, the free version of StreamYard lets you stream so many hours a month and then it cuts you off. So I'm going to have to learn how to stream other ways besides StreamYard if I want to keep up the level of production that I want to do. But I will be recording so much content. I got to get back into that because there's so many movies I've watched and I want to talk to you guys about and really, really get into it. So with that, thank you guys again tonight. Tony said you can also get a blood test and find out from the doctor. Yes, I know that, but that's for people that have insurance. I'm not one of those people. So plus I've been anemic for 30 years. I know the signs and I know what I have to do to counteract the stuff. So I was able to figure it out that way. Yes, it would be cool to be able to go and get a blood test whenever, but I can't. So here we are. With that, have a good night. We'll be back. I probably will not be on the 4th of July. I'll be back next Wednesday, most likely. Will be the soonest. It'll be next Wednesday. Have a good and safe weekend. Try not to let the news get you too far down. If you have to take a break from the news, stop watching it for a while, listen to some music, watch some fucked up movies, recenter yourself so that you don't get too downtrodden and all that. I think that's a good idea to do, to recenter yourself. Do things that make you enjoy life. Do art for art's sake. Play music for music's sake. Do something physical if you like physical activity. Go shoot some hoops, play horse. You know, just to do it. Anything to take your mind off of, anything that's dragging you down right now. But we're going to get through it. We've gotten through, as a nation, we've gotten through worse, I think. I think. So I think we'll get through this too. Let's just hold it together. With that, have a good night. Thank you. Have Cheetah will follow.